If you find the one, you should never give her up. I think it's the way life
Okay, so
changes when in love.
right now we welcome everybody to Dress Talk. This is Dress
Whoop,
Talk with
whoop.
Kismet Bridal, and we are actually featuring one of our favorite wedding planners, the event company with Candace. Hey, hey,
Hey,
hey. So Candace will be
hey.
coming on in just a moment. But the reason why we wanted to go ahead and have this dress talk is because, listen, we are in just such a wacky time right now, period, overall. And we know that it is impacting our brides like never before. And so what we wanted to do is just come on, provide our brides with tips and tricks when it comes to wedding planning and finding your dress during a pandemic. This is quarantine edition of Dress Talk. So, first and foremost, I want to introduce myself. I am Meryl. I am with Kismet Bridal. We are an on location bridal company. Yep, that means we are mobile. We bring our dresses to our brides so that they can have a VIP experience in the comfort of their home. We have been doing this since we started. So the good thing with us is that we didn't have to make many changes when this pandemic started to happen. We were able to just keep rolling with the punches. And that's what you really have to do in this moment. Now, we also provide not only wedding dresses, but accessories. So your veils, tiaras, petticoats, that's the things that go underneath your dresses. We provide different packages from one-on-one virtual appointments, the bride plus 5, the bride plus 10, and we even have a package where we bring our dresses, we bring a professional makeup artist, and we bring a professional hairstylist. So you get
Wow.
everything done at the same time. Oh my gosh, you can have your whole look right then and there. Now, we also offer a la carte. So, a la carte options is where we can bring in some of our frienders, people like the event company. Woo!
Whoop,
So, the
whoop.
event company is an awesome wedding planning company that we work with, that we've been able to partner with over the years. I mean, they are excellent. We're going to bring Candace on right now so that she can say hello, hello, hello. Candace, make sure your turn your camera on your Facebook side so that we can see your lovely face. Hey, Insta.
Uh-oh. Oh, hello. Okay. There we go.
There she goes. Hi, Candace.
Hey!
How's it going?
It is going good. I am so excited to be here. Thank you so much for this opportunity. COVID-19 is in here in full force. Okay. It took us 10 minutes to get started, but hey, whatever. It is what it is. So we are here. I'm excited. I am still excited about 2020. A lot of people right
Yes.
now are talking about 2020 is the worst and they need to go back to 2019 or skip to 2021. And I'm like, look, we are still booming over here. Like, wear your mask, wear your gloves, and keep that plane
Hello.
and trucking along. All of the
Yes.
vendors are out here and they are waiting for you. So, with that being said, as my dear friend Meryl mentioned, I am owner of the event company. And so we are a Central Florida wedding and event planning business. So we go to St. Augustine, we go down to Melbourne and Palm Bay. So anywhere in that area really is where we specialize in. Like, we have a lot of vendors that we know personally that go to those areas, but we are definitely here to help you. Um, and we're still planning, right?
out. We don't want anybody to think, that everything has stopped
Right.
because of this pandemic, right? Because you still have the best day of your life that we want to make sure that you have. So we are here to definitely help you.
You got it. That is very, very well said. So we just want to give some quick shout outs. We have some people on Facebook saying, hey girl, hey, hi Brittany, how's it going? We have G Millions as she goes by. She is ready to plan her own wedding, and we know that it is coming up soon. Oh, very soon. Oh my goodness. Okay, so right now we're going to jump in. Candace, do me a favor and check your connection for Facebook, because we want to make sure that we get you in here with all of your great tips and tricks. So I'll go ahead and get started. So as Candace and I have already discussed, we know that this is a very, very unprecedented time for our brides. We're very, very aware of that. However, we want our brides to keep rolling with the punches. You have a wedding to plan, and now is not the time to slack up. So we recommend here at Kismet Bridal, fight the urge to slack on wedding planning. Now is not the time. Listen, you can be looking for inspiration, setting your wedding dress budget. You can be gaining knowledge of the process, setting your appointments, actually attending your appointments when you can, of course, when it's safe. And we'll jump into that a little bit more. And purchasing your dress. Listen, there are things that you can be doing. You don't want to wait. We definitely suggest that you just keep planning. So we want to get some tips from Candace as far as continuing to plan, because it is very important. Let me tell you something. When it comes to, and as she's coming back on the Facebook side, listen, when it comes to things that you can be doing from a wedding dress standpoint, look for inspiration. So right now is a good time for you to visualize how you want to look and how you want to feel on your wedding day. Okay, familiarize yourself with different silhouettes. That is pretty much like the cut of your dress, the bodice of your dress, how it will sit on your body. Most common silhouettes are mermaid, you have trumpet, you have ball gown, you have A-line, you have seat, and fit and flare, and T-length. Okay, those are most common dress silhouettes. You also want to use this time to familiarize yourself with different necklines. So this is this area, right? We're talking about sweetheart. You can do illusion. You have straps. You have the deep V. You have off the shoulders. Now is the time to look at all of those different options. Get a feel of what you're really liking, what's working for you, the whole shebang. Hi, Candace. I know you are ready to jump in and give our brides just a little bit more insight when it comes to, using their time wisely. I've already told them, hey, just keep planning, keep pushing. I know that you definitely have some insight when it comes to that. What say you?
Yes, I definitely thought of what's the name of that movie, Finding Nemo, when they're like, just keep swimming, just keep swimming. I'm like, just keep planning. That's what we're here to do. Keep planning, right? Stuff is still happening, and if you're planning your wedding right now, it's probably not getting ready to happen until the end of this year, maybe the beginning of next year. We as vendors work mobily. So there's phone, there's email, there's text, there's Zoom, there's everything out here to still stay connected with vendors. And so we really are hoping and praying that you don't get discouraged, and you have somebody who is part of your support team that'll help you as well as advocate for you. If you don't have a planner, this may be a good time for you to reach out to one so that you
Yeah.
can stay focused, have your checklist together, and find out what these vendors are out here doing, because there are some great opportunities, especially right now, for the vendors that you may be looking for. Some things to keep in mind is that everybody who's was supposed to get married in April, May, and now even June are having to move their wedding. So with them having to move their wedding, and you already have a wedding date maybe for later on in the year, you're kind of up here. They're kind of like, what will the COVID bride be willing to maneuver around for you? So I would keep that in mind when you talk and reach out to your vendors, especially planning during this time. But definitely just keep planning, keep it moving, keep that train going.
Exactly. And listen, while you're planning, we were talking about, understanding the different silhouettes, understanding the different necklines, but think about what's really motivating you. Are you okay with, just doing traditional white? Or would you look at ivory and champagne wedding dresses, for example? Or are you okay with nice bold colors? Now is the time to really, really visualize yourself when it comes to what do you want to see. And I know, Candace, you talked about just keep planning, reaching out to a planner if you haven't already. Now is the time to tap into them and think about colors. I've had brides to ask me, oh, what do this is the colors I'm thinking about. What kind of dress would go with that? Listen, we are still out here. We are still answering questions. We are still helping. You can also think about if you want to wear a veil or a tiara or a headband or a hair comb,
Cute.
or you don't want to
Cute.
wear anything at all. Now is the time. And listen, you might be a bride like me. I didn't want a veil. I know. I didn't want a veil. I know. Listen.
Why?
I wanted a crown, honey.
Okay. Okay, I'm with you. Okay.
And I had it too. I wanted a crown. So, now is definitely a time to look for that wedding dress inspiration. Look at different, photos and things like that. Be inspired. You're still in this thing. We've been in this game for a little time now. You've had a moment to just kind of take a step back, take it all
Pinterest.
in.
Pinterest is your friend.
Pinterest is your friend. It
Mm-hmm.
is. Listen, get your inspiration together, because it definitely helps when it comes to connecting with your consultant and your bridal consultant, us getting the idea of what you are looking for, what your vision is, because our goal is to align ourselves with you. That is the point. We want to make that vision come to pass. Now, I will say make sure that you are setting your wedding dress budget. Listen,
Boop.
it is important. Set your budget. Why do you want to set your budget? The last thing you want to do is fall in love with a dress and it is way out of your budget. Don't do it. Listen to me. Listen to me. Don't, don't do it. The last thing you want to do is set something is way out of your budget. Now, if you have something on your list and you're just like, hey, I can waive that, I don't need it, I can add it to my dress budget if it comes to that, okay, that's one thing. But if that is not the case, do not set yourself up. And listen, as you're setting that budget, the things you want to consider, you do want to consider the dress itself. So with Kismet Bridal, we range from $950 to $2,600 for your dress. You also want to think about alterations. So small modifications, pinch it in here, bringing up your hem a little bit. But you want to think about major things as well. We have brides that say, hey, I want to add sleeves. Or, hey, instead of a semi-sweetheart, I want it to become a deep V, or I want it to be more defined. Hey, I want to add straps. You want to think about those different things. You also want to think about your accessories, the things that you're going to add on, your veils, your tiara, your jewelry, petticoat. Now, I use the word petticoat. A lot of brides are sometimes like, what? Listen, that is just the undergarment that goes underneath your dress, your skirt, to give it a little bit more oomph, a little bit more fluff, if you will. So that is what a petticoat is. That's something that you want to really, really think about. Next,
And I
I
just
would
want
say,
to, before we move on, I just want to talk about the wedding dress budget. It is part of your wedding budget. Okay. So when those of us who are planners are saying, so do you have a budget for your wedding? 9 times out of 10, the wedding dress is not a part of that. So those are some things that you really want to consider. And she is absolutely 100% correct. If you spend all your, if you have a $10,000 budget and you are spending 8,000 on your floral and your caterer and your venue, then there are loads of things that you're missing, which is why having a planner will really help walk you through those steps. But just as she mentioned, there's alterations, there's jewelry, there's headpieces that you all have to consider. So when you talk about your wedding budget, it's all encompassing to include your wedding dress, unless somebody else is paying for it. Because if somebody else is going to pay for your dress, then, those are things you make sure they're paying for the whole thing if they're about to pay for it. Okay. The whole
that's a
thing,
good
all,
point.
all of it. I'm just saying, because, when you get married, you do have some gifts. People just throw out money sometimes if you are blessed that way. So make sure that they're going to get all of the wedding dress. Okay.
Hello. All of it. Alterations, headpiece, everything. Okay, so number 4, we definitely recommend learning about the wedding dress shopping process. So listen, a lot of times, some brides, if they've, not really paying attention to the wedding industry and how things are set up, you might think that, oh, I can just walk into a store, take it off the rack. Is that possible? Yes, you will be purchasing a sample dress. That is absolutely a possibility. However, it is not the norm. So you want to make sure that you have enough time to go through the entire process. We recommend that brides usually start their process 18 months. I mean, that's when you start really getting your inspiration. But when it comes time to order, we recommend 10 to 8 months. Now, we understand that things happen. Listen, life happens. Clearly, we're in the middle of a pandemic, right?
Yeah. Yes.
Life happens. So if you are already a subscriber, or if you do subscribe to our website, we actually provide our brides with a wedding dress timeline. We bring it from when you should start looking, all the way to your wedding day, when it comes to everything that you should be doing, when your accessories, even down to packing your bag, honey. We want to make sure that our brides are very much so prepared. So we recommend, please, if you haven't already, if you're not already subscribed, go to kismetbridal.com, sign up. We will send you those details. Trust us. We want to make sure that everything flows smoothly.
That's awesome. Awesome.
So now we want to jump into what brides have to do, being that we're in the middle of a pandemic. And one of the biggest things is to go virtual.
Right.
It is what it is. It is what it is. Jump in, Candace. I'm sure you have some tips when it comes to connecting with vendors virtually.
Listen, the new way to do everything is virtually. And I'm talking about when you have a planner, when you have a photographer, when you have a videographer, the first thing they're going to want to do is have a consultation with you. So let's meet prior to the pandemic, right? Let's meet in person. Let's discover what your wants and needs are. Let's see if we're a good fit, a good match for each other. Those things can absolutely 100% still happen. Okay. So that looks like Zoom meetings, FaceTime, Facebook Messenger. I just heard this week actually that if you have an Android phone, there's some type of FaceTime for Android that you can do now. You have one of those. Yep. Mm-hmm. There's some type of Facebook or FaceTime for Android that you can do. The ways of communicating with people now are endless. Like there's no reason for you to not be able to talk to somebody, pretty much is what I'm saying. So that looks like now, when you, even if you go to your venue, when you have a site tour with a venue, previously you would call and make an appointment. That's what they prefer you to do. Now, I know some of y'all just walk on in, but they would prefer you to make an appointment so that they're ready for you, so that they're in expectation of you, so that they can provide the most, so that you can get the most out of your experience there, right? You want to have a good experience. You don't want to come in while they're super busy and they can't really, and then you get a super busy vibe, you're not important. So you want to make sure that you set an appointment so that their expectation of you will be great and that your expectation of them will be great. But that's, neither here nor there. But I always stress that to my brides.
And listen, let me interject on that really quick. The reason why setting that appointment the way that you say, like, you definitely we believe in catering to our brides, and that's why we have it the way that we have it set up, because we don't want anybody to interject. Set your appointments. We are setting it up because that's why we come to your home. That's why we come to you, so you don't have to worry about that. However, listen, bridal companies are not the only companies in the world. Set your appointment. You want all eyes on you. This is your special day.
Exactly. You want all eyes on you. You want everybody, if you go to a venue, you want everybody at that venue to know who you are, know what your expectations are, know when your wedding date is. And even if you say you don't like fame and glory, when you walk through a venue, hotel, wherever, and they're like, oh my God, congratulations. Oh, we're so excited that you were here. We heard that you were coming. You know you love that. Okay.
You love it.
Let them touch you. Don't just pop up. And if you decide you want to pop up, that's another reason for you to have a planner, so that your planner can walk you through the proper steps to take for setting your site tour. Jackie over here on Instagram said that item number 1 on your budget should be a planner. So don't wait. Okay. You listen to the last bride of the event company. Okay. Go ask her. She'll tell you. Anyway, with that said about site tours, now venues are doing virtual site tours, which is amazing. So, especially if it's a really popular venue and you can't get in right away, now they're doing these site tours and they're just literally on their social media. So you don't even have to talk to anybody. You don't have to make an appointment. They probably already have it just sitting there waiting for you to view. And then a couple of places that I've called for my brides will do a site tour virtually right then. I know I was on the phone with one venue manager and I said, my bride is really considering coming. You're about an hour and a half away. They have a little bit of hesitation. She's like, do you have FaceTime? Because I could just FaceTime you right now. And then you could just see it. What? I mean, she had nothing else to do because who else is there? It's not like anybody's getting married right now, but she took it upon herself to say, hey, look, listen, we still want your business. Okay. So if that means that we need to set up this, I am ready, willing, and able to give you this virtual appointment right now. Okay. And let me know if you want to talk to my bride. So
listen,
the vendors are absolutely 100% ready to talk to you however they need to talk to you. You don't even need to leave your house. Okay. And if you want to leave your camera off for this virtual appointment, you can leave your camera off and you can just look at them because this is their opportunity to sell themselves to you. Obviously, they want to make sure that you are a good fit for them, but the goal is so that they can sell themselves to you and that you can either accept or decline, which hopefully you decline. I mean, hopefully you accept.
Don't
you know what I
meant. Don't decline. Oh my gosh. So yeah, listen, as you know, we are definitely a proponent of virtual appointments here at Kismet Bridal. We completely understand. We want to be very mindful of what brides need to remain safe. We want not only our brides to be safe, but we want to be safe as well. I got to make sure our consultants are safe. So yes, we are very big on that. So listen, now is the time to set your appointment. Now is the time. Do not wait. Do not delay. I know it may seem like, oh, I have time, but not only are brides setting their appointments, when everything goes back to the new normal, whatever that may be, you don't want to be a person where it's like, well, we don't have availability, unfortunately. Nope. Things like we have virtual appointment and we have drop and waits. For our drop and waits, it's limited, right? Because right now we're in a situation where we have to just kind of roll with the punches, just like our brides. So take advantage of those appointments, set them now.
And the drop and wait, that's when you give them the dress and then you wait in the car, or you wait, what happens?
Yep. So let me break it down. First, we're going to bring it all together. Yes, with the drop and wait, we drop, we wait. We'll be in the car, we'll be outside. And that's just really a safety measure. It's not normally what we would do under our normal packages. However, we still want to give our brides an opportunity to try on dresses. However, we want to make sure that everyone is safe. And so we just put those parameters in place. That's the little tweak that we have to make with our setup. But what we do is we actually offer virtual appointments. So what does that look like? You connect with a Kismet Bridal representative, and you have an opportunity to really express what you're looking for, what you're inspired by. Tell us your colors. Tell us your story with you and your boo. Tell us what really, really gets you moving. Tell us, just maybe some of the dresses that you came across or what your colors are, things like that. You're going to tell us what your vision is. When you do that, your bridal consultant will then pull dresses based on what you've shared. So if you say, hey, I really like mermaid, or I really like ball gown, or I'm going to have a beach wedding, we'll pull things that are light and airy, something like Ashley here. This is Ashley.
Love Ashley. Love Ashley.
But we'll pull those dresses for you so that, you can take a look at them. We bring them to the camera. We have them on a mannequin so you can check them out if you want to, get an idea of how it looks up close. Listen, you see how those nails not painted? You see that detail? Boom, right there. Hey, we'll get close up to the camera so you can see the details of the dress for you. This is also an opportunity for us to just understand what's most important to you. Listen, you don't want to wait. You want to set your virtual appointment with Kismet Bridal. We are booking. Okay. Put the request in, don't wait. And the great thing is right now we are waiving any fees associated with booking an appointment with us. The reason why we did that is because we understand, listen, there's a lot going on. I mean, we're very mindful. I know that some may feel now is the time to, increase prices and things like that, but we are really in the business of taking care of our brides. We want to make this process as easy as possible, as simple and as seamless as possible. That is our goal. And we know that right now, may not be the best time to be like, hey, we're going to charge you a little bit of an arm and a leg to book your appointment. Now, the other thing that we definitely recommend is after you meet with your consultant virtually, and we determine what you like, what's really working for you. We pull your dresses. You express, oh my gosh, I really would like to try this dress on, this dress on, this dress on. What we then do is schedule your drop and wait appointment. So as Candace mentioned a little bit earlier, what that means is the bridal consultant will come to you, bring those dresses to you in full protective gear, even though we're not entering the home. We'll drop those dresses. We'll drop those dresses, and then we will wait for you to have your own experience. Now, with that, we still do recommend that our brides become as wedding day ready as possible, right? We are not here to take the experience away from you. We just have to tweak it just a little bit, right? So when it comes to, becoming, like really setting yourself up for your drop and wait appointment, still call your tribe. Get them on Zoom. Let them know, hey, today is wedding dress day. It is wedding planning Saturday, as I say, because we're gonna coin that phrase. And you want them to be a part of this moment with you. It is absolutely okay. Vendors understand it. We are prepared for it. We want to make sure that you get the people that are closest to you that really want to help you make that decision. Now, you want to get ready, right? So you want to do a little something to your hair, add a little something to your face, not too much makeup because you don't want to get it on the dress. But add a little something to your face, add your jewelry, pull some pieces out. You may not have the exact look that you're going for on your wedding day, but you want to get as close as possible, right? You want to be able to visualize yourself on your wedding day. You want to grab your undergarments, strapless bras, bring out your girdles, your Spanx,
Suck it all in. Get it.
Suck it in. Get all of those things on, so that you can, once you put your garment on, you can get an idea of what you're going to look like. Now, listen, we know that brides, they set workout goals and things like that, but in this moment, listen,
everybody's eating. Everybody is eating. Listen, it is what it is.
You got to roll with the punches. Now, I recommend, and I'm sure Candace would agree, don't get caught up in the sizing. Do not take the dress. You're going to have a sample dress, right? You don't want to get caught up in, oh, it doesn't fit right, et cetera, et cetera. Here at Kismet Bridal, we take your measurements to the T. Trust me, we get every inch of you, and we try to get you as close to the standard size as possible. We understand, and if you don't know, you're going to find out that wedding dresses run small. They run a little weird, and it's okay. It is okay. So don't get caught up in, oh, this is not fitting correctly. What's going to happen? Don't do it to yourself. Okay.
Listen, okay, when I got married, I was a size, I don't know, 4, 6, one of those really small sizes. That was a long time ago. The dress that I purchased was like a size 14. And I was like, she's like, maybe you should go to a 16. I'm like, what? What are you talking about? How dare you? What are you thinking?
Listen,
she's absolutely right. I 100% agree.
Listen, don't get caught up in it. It's okay. Dress sizes run weird. It's fine. and also keep an open mind. So as you're preparing for your drop and wait appointment, keep an open mind. As bridal consultants, we're the professionals. We listen to you. We want to be in line with your vision, but we're going to probably make suggestions of things that you may not have thought about. Keep an open mind. We'll still definitely pull the dresses that you desire, the dresses that you're looking for, but we may suggest, hey, why don't you try this? Based on what you're telling me, try this dress, try that dress. Trust me, we have had so many brides to be like, oh my gosh, I love how this looks on me. They do a little twirl and everything because they're just like, I didn't think that I would even wear something like that. So trust the process. Trust your bridal consultant. Trust your wedding planners. This is what we do. We want to make sure this is as seamless as possible. We don't want you to overthink anything during this process. We want to hear from you, take it all in, and present you with what you need to make sure your wedding day is top notch. That is our goal. So make sure you keep an open mind. And listen, for your drop and wait appointment, don't be afraid to fall in love with the first dress you try on. Pull the trigger, girl. Do it. Look, it is okay. You did not do anything wrong because you fell in love with your first dress. The reason why you want to pull the trigger, especially now with COVID-19, is because carriers, they're a little bit slower than normal. So depending on where your where your dress is coming from, whether it's the material that we have to get or whether it's coming from a warehouse or things of that nature, just the things that it takes to make sure that we put everything together, you don't want to delay. And because we're seeing delays with carrier services, you want to make sure that you're giving us enough time to get everything together and get it to you. And besides, it becomes one less thing on your checklist that you have to worry about. Pull the trigger. Now, I will say, have there been times like how Candace just described where, you try on a dress, you're not really sure, you got to try back on again, things like that? Yes. Being that we bring a rack of dresses to you, hey, we are there, we'll try them on, no problem. If you decide not to pull the trigger, that's fine. You can call us up. You can order it online. You can order it through your bridal consultant, or we can actually come back out. Yes, we do come back out to brides that say, listen, I just need to try it on one more time. I just need to get a feel of it one more time. And it is absolutely okay. We don't, listen, nobody's going to knock you. So this is now the time. Make your appointments. Pull the trigger on your dress once you find it. You don't want to also continue to keep looking, because then what happens is it leaves an opening for confusion. Listen, you found the dress, you get all excited, and then you say, well, I'm going to just keep. Listen, you're already stressed. You already have a lot going on. If you found your dress, go with it. If you're not 100%, if you're still very much so like, I like it, but okay, that's a different vibe. But if you know you found it, go with it, honey.
You know when you found the one. You know when you found the one with anything that you purchased. So
yes,
stick with it.
You can see yourself. You can see yourself in a dress. Listen, I've had brides to dream, and they were like, "That's it." Ah, I didn't get it when I was supposed to get it. But listen, they done had a dream about it. They can see themselves walking down the aisle, or however you want to, however you want to do. Every wedding is a little different. But they can see themselves doing it. So yeah, we definitely recommend, if you found a dress, go ahead and get that dress. Now, Candace, I know you're going to jump in because, of course, there is some legal things that our brides should definitely be considering. Even during a pandemic, they need to be getting their minds right about these contracts, honey.
For sure. Yes. And if you decide, back to number 7, if you decide that you just cannot make up your mind, then take a picture in every one of those dresses, 1, 2, 3, 4, A, B, C, and look at them later. And you will notice your body language will tell you which one you are in love with, without you even knowing. If you just say, take my picture, and then, because you can't make a decision right now, and you go home and you look at those pictures later, you'll be able to tell by the way you were like, or if you were just like, here, you know how you try on clothes and you're just like, ugh, and then you try on clothes like, oh, that's that?
Yes, honey.
No, wait, let me get my good side. Yes, boo. Okay, however that yes, boo picture is, that's the one. That is the one.
That is the
Mhm.
one. Exactly.
Anyway, about these contracts. Now, some vendors have contracts that have every clause known to man in them. Some vendors have contracts that have really nothing except this is the date, this is the payment, this is the time, no refunds or some refund, whatever. So now with this new pandemic, a lot of vendors are revising their contracts. So you want to make sure that your contracts have not that they have the pandemic clauses in them, but you want to make sure that you fully understand what the contract means
When it comes to acts of God.
something like this happens. So something like this probably is not going to happen again for another 10 years. But while it's happening right now, the vendors are renewing their contracts, they're making revisions, they're making adjustments, and it's going to include something like this. And it's probably going to say something like, if you want to cancel, then all the money that you've given up until this date will remain, and then you'll be responsible for no more payment. We recommend that you postpone versus canceling. We are going to continue to keep getting your money even though you want to cancel. Those are some things you want to seek some counsel about, just to make sure that everybody's on the same page before you sign on the dotted line, which is also another reason why it's good for you to have a planner, because hopefully if you hire a planner, they have been certified. And if they are a certified planner, then those are some definite conversations that they had during their course to get their certification. So as well as they also have a contract that most likely has some of these clauses already in it. So it really just depends on the knowledge of the planner, if they are knowledgeable in contracts and contract clauses and addendums. And if you already are in the middle of planning your wedding, you already have all the contracts and your vendors are just like, hey, we're good. Yeah, keep. If you have made any changes, for example, if your wedding was supposed to be tomorrow and you've moved it to January of next year, make sure that you get an addendum to your original contract that states all of the previous all of the previous clauses that were in the previous contract still applies. The only thing that's been changed is the date. Just in case they decide to still move forward with any other revisions, you want to make sure that you cover your backside. Okay. So having your contract tight and right will make sure that that happens. But again, just like you are kind of weary about what's going on, vendors know that you're like that. So they want to make sure that they're covering you as well as covering themselves.
It's true.
So get that contract together. And then my next point is to expect less. So what I mean by expect less is maybe you're getting married sooner rather than later. Your attendance options may not be the 350 people that you expected, right? It may be 100 for several reasons. Number one, all of your guests are scared. They don't want to fly. They don't want to drive because it may come through the vents in the air. They don't want to walk into a big place. They don't want to expose themselves to over 100 people. You may not have gloves there. You may not have hand sanitizer there. They're elderly people. They're babies. They're people who have some other underlying conditions. They just don't want to show up, and your wedding is just a little too soon for them. So if you have chosen not to postpone your wedding, then you need to understand that everybody who said they were coming to your wedding may not actually come. And then I would reach out to some of your vendors. Again, if you don't have a planner, because if you have a planner, then your planner should be doing this for you. But I would definitely reach out to your vendors just to make sure that everything is still a go. Additionally, if you go from 300 people to 100 people, you want to ask them, is there anything that you can do? Is there anything that you can, is there any adjustment you can make? Maybe you can add on some additional you can add some additional items onto whatever the service is so that you can make sure that you get all your money's worth. Lastly, with that expectation, your venue may, by CDC rules and governor's state rules, say that the venue can only operate at 75% or 65% of whatever the normal capacity is. So if your capacity is 100 people, now they can only do 75 people or 50 people, right? So that puts you kind of in a bind. So that's all I mean by expect less. I think we're about to get cut off on Instagram. So you may have to rejoin me. We have about a minute left.
Okay. Hey.
FYI.
Hey. FYI, that's no problem. If you're on Instagram, make sure you click it, join us.
Join us.
Either on the event company or on Kismet Bridal page.
Mm-hmm.
We are.
Yeah, we're still gonna be trucking along, but just so you know,
on Facebook.
Yes, we are on Facebook. Or come on over to Facebook. We're all the way live on Facebook. Anyway, yeah. So that's that is my expect less, right? So we don't want you to get your feelings hurt when it gets a little closer, and then you're like, what is happening, right? And it's no fault of your own, but really it's no fault of anybody else. Like the venues have to follow what is state order, right? So they have no choice. So it kind of is what it is.
Yeah.
And my last point is to just be flexible, right? So just like I was saying about your venue and making sure that you are in expectation of less for your guests, you also want to make sure that you understand that your vendors really are here for you. And your vendors are looking out for your best interests as well as their best interests, right? So that looks like having conversations with them, being flexible with what your decor looks like. I asked one of my brides this week, what kind of questions would they be asking right now if I was still planning their wedding? And she straight up was like, how can I get hand sanitizer on my tables with it looking cute? And how can I find a bathroom attendant in the venue so that I can make sure people wash their hands when they use the bathroom? So we're just getting on Instagram Live right now. So we're going to see if that works. Give me 1 second. Request. Okay. I think I requested you. So you want to. Is it working?
Yep.
Okay. While we figure out Instagram, she mentioned the bathroom attendant. She mentioned hand sanitizer. And she also mentioned. What else did she mention? Okay, I just want to make sure we were good. What else did she mention? She mentioned the bathroom attendant. She mentioned the hand sanitizer. And she also mentioned sending gifts. See, this is why I still keep in contact with my brides after their wedding is long gone, because they have the greatest ideas. She mentioned sending the guests who are coming from out of town care packages to help them travel safely. For example, a mask, some gloves, Neosporin, Polysporin, some sanitizer, just so they feel more at ease when they're traveling. I'm like, yes, girl, yes. Let me add that to my list of suggestions. I can't even believe this. Obviously, if you are a bride who is moving your date, for example, you're moving from tomorrow to 10/10/2020. That is a very popular date this year, okay? And you need to expect that you're not going to be first in line for that date. So if you can find a venue, which I believe that anything is possible. So even though people are saying, oh, everybody's going to be booked up, I just had a consultation this week for somebody who is getting married on 10/10/2020, and she just booked her venue this week. So it is possible. We are in May, but anything is possible. You just have to believe that your wedding is going to be the best, and this is what's going to happen, and this is how it's going to happen. So if you are one of those brides who has to move your date, just be flexible and understand that other people may have your date. And if they do accept more than one wedding, just make sure that, you know, you're being as compassionate as you can be for all the other people, as well as, you know, planning your own. Same with your guests. Your guests not wanting to travel to your wedding because of this pandemic is not your fault.
Right.
You were probably getting married and engaged before this pandemic started. And if your guests don't feel safe and comfortable for whatever reason because they can't come to your wedding, don't hold it against them. Yeah. It's really not anything that they could have done. And in order for them to be at ease, maybe you could live stream your wedding. Also something you want to talk to your wedding planner about, or maybe your videographer or your photographer. That's what I'm saying. Go virtual, right? You could do a whole bunch of things. This pandemic is opening up eyes for loads of things to start happening. Okay. You want to live stream your wedding, boo? You go ahead and do it for Grandma Sue that is in Connecticut who can't fly down here because she's 98 and a half. Okay. Yeah. So just be flexible, just be open, just be willing to hear people out who are all going to have these opinions about what to do with your wedding that you're planning in the middle of a pandemic. So yeah, that's all I have to say about that. Just loads of flexibility, talk with your planner, make sure that you all stay very connected so that you won't feel like, oh my gosh, it's such a burden to be doing this.
Listen, I totally agree. I think that overarchingly, you know, for our brides, we definitely want them to use their time wisely. There are things that still can get done. Myself with Kismet Bridal, Candace with the event company have laid it out. We gave you all of these different ideas and things that you can be working on to still move forward when it comes to planning your wedding. So even though there's a quarantine happening, you want to make sure that you're checking things off of your list, that you are remaining flexible, as Candace has so eloquently stated, because this is all an unprecedented time for all of us. As vendors, we are doing everything in our power to remain as flexible and as understanding as possible. I know here at Kismet Bridal, and I'm sure the event company can agree, our job, our desire is to take care of our brides. That's why we're even doing this today. We want to make sure that you are equipped, that you have, you know, realistic expectations of what this will look like given this. And listen, it's okay. This will be a memory that you can share with your children, grandchildren, should you decide, your nieces, nephews, great nieces, great nephews, in a book. Listen, this is something that you'll be able to say, listen, I remember when COVID-19 happened and I had to plan my wedding. This is what it was. And it's okay. I promise. This too shall pass. It will be okay. It will be in a unique experience that I'm sure many, many brides will not be able to say, hey, this is something that happened with me. It's okay. Just breathe. Relax. Take the tips. Take it step by step. It will come together. Yeah. Did you have anything else that you wanted to share before we say goodbye?
Yes. Thank you so much for having this morning. This was amazing. I learned a lot from you as far as Kismet Bridal, drop-in weight appointments and virtual appointments, which is so big, especially right now in this industry. So I'm so thankful that we've had this time this morning so that we can exchange tips, right?
Yep.
I'm also grateful to our past brides who
Yes.
are still involved in our community and offering tips and tricks for our fellow brides. So we're very grateful for them.
Yes.
And listen, if you have any needs, please feel free to reach out. It doesn't cost a thing to slide on in those DMs or send us a text or an email. We are happy to answer any questions that you have. Even if you're not looking for a planner, sometimes people just, need their questions answered or need somebody to talk to just for a couple minutes. And we are happy to offer that service for you complimentary. So our goal, like we said, is to help. Our goal is to give. And so that is what we are here to do. So thank you so much for this time this morning. I can't wait to do it again.
Well, brides, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for watching the rebroadcast. We hope that everyone is safe. Stay safe. Use your time wisely. Use wisdom. We are here to help. Contact us.
Have wisdom. Yes.
Right below at Kismet Bridal at the event company FL #1. Visit our website. For more information, more details. We love you guys. We'll see you. Bye.
Bye.
If you find the one, you should never give her up. I think it's the way life changes when in love, yeah. I surround my soul.